Hello everybody, DonTheCrown here, and you may have heard that Frostmonk got a little bit nerfed, and it is unfortunately true. We actually ate two nerfs in this particular patch. Number one, Infusion no longer works on Heralds, giving us multiplicative damage. This was kind of obviously a bug, and so we're going to take that out of Herald device. But the good thing is that if you go and take that Infusion, it is now a solid link on our main skill. Doesn't add any sort of multiplier in terms of mana cost, and makes it so that our attacks gain 25% of damage is extra cold. That's just free extra damage. It does reduce the amount of fire and lightning damage we do, and so if you have that like on a weapon or something, that's kind of a little bit unfortunate, but it kind of is what it is. And on top of that, they nerfed the ever-loving crap out of trigger gems, and most importantly, what they did is just made it really hard to gain energy compared to what it was before. So previously, when you froze an enemy, you would get 125 energy for your elemental evocation, and now that's been changed from 125 to 12 per power of the enemies you freeze. And power is basically a multiplier for the rarity of them. So normal monsters is 1, magic is 2, and then rare is 5. So even and then unique monsters always have 20 power, and so freezing a unique boss actually gives you more power now. However, freezing a rare only gives you 60 power, so it's like 50% nerf against rares. However, at least for me, I kind of got to the point where I didn't even really need to cast meteor or comets all that much. So this is not necessarily a gigantic nerf towards the end game build, but definitely like while you're kind of building up and you're really worried about range mobs, this is going to hurt, and that just kind of sucks. Probably just have to get more like defenses and stuff, but don't worry, there are a few options here that we're going to replace this with. They're going to really help us kick some butt. So first off, we're looking at a couple different things like Eye of Winter, Frost Wall, and Ice Nova. All seem like these could be really quite good. And just to kind of show off what these gems look like by themselves. So Eye of Winter here shoots out this little frost ball here that shoots a lot of projectiles, which is pretty decent. And the reason it's decent is because it can hit Tempest Spell a lot. And so we're going to kind of like invest a little bit more into Tempest Spell with like some magnified effect. Astral Projection actually wasn't working. Maybe we'll figure out something else to put in here. Maybe put Rage back in or Font of Mana. I think that's probably fine. Magnified font is probably okay. Bell does an insane amount of damage. And so we're going to use Eye of Winter combined with like Deceleration and maybe even Chain here to shoot out a really slow moving Eye of Winter. That's going to apply some, basically some crit weakness on enemies, and then also make it so that it hits the bell a whole bunch and will basically break the bell. So bells can basically take 18 hits here at level 18, and that means this just does a lot of damage. So we'll be using that inside of Elemental Evocation to trigger the Tempest Bell. But the other skills we're looking at here are like instead of Eye of Winter, or things like maybe Frost Wall, which we probably can do Spell Cascade and Spell Echo, just to kind of show you what it looks like here. And this just brings up a lot of walls. Now, I don't necessarily like this per se because, well, it kind of gets in the way and can kind of body block you. But apparently, as these are popping up, these can do damage to the bell as well, which would be kind of okay. And they will also body block ranged enemies, which is something that's pretty nice. The last option here is to go and do Ice Nova. And Ice Nova actually looks pretty ridiculous because what it'll do is it will cast out a whole bunch of different ice stuff around you, and it really just pops off pretty well. So let's just go through and show these a little bit in a map. I have a tower that we're running right now, so we're gonna go and put Ice Nova, Spell Cascade, Spell Echo, and then I'm gonna put Impetus in here, which helps us gain energy faster. I'm just gonna go run into this bad boy here. And really, we're just going to be using this more to proc the bell in order to burst elites down. So we're kind of like losing damage from having no more meteors, right? Or no more comets dropping down on enemies, which does kind of suck. As you can see, we're getting up here to almost full charge here. And we have quite a few frost walls ready to, not frost walls, things here. And you see the bell just gets hit a whole bunch, and that just does a lot of damage. Each hit hits very, very, very hard. And so this is pretty much going to be the big trigger thing here for killing elites. I've like dropped this down on essence monsters and tier 15 maps, and the elite just disappears during that. So I think it's going to be pretty fine. And even like though it doesn't do a lot of damage with the actual frost attack itself, I think it'll still be pretty good. Next up, check out Eye of Winter instead to give a better idea here. This one's a little bit, I think, less good in some ways because you actually have to hit your bell directly on with the cast. As you can see here, like it takes us forever kind of to build up. Oh, we're gonna die. It's frozen. Okay, we're gonna just delete that. Delete the elite. As you can see there, get 2 elites there. Oh, yes, okay. There it goes. So the Eye of Winter just hits the bell and just bops it really, really hard. And one of the reasons why we're using chain here is I'm pretty sure this can make it so that it can hit something else and then chain to the bell. Might require some more testing, but we'll see exactly how that works. And then lastly, we have Frost Wall, like I was talking about before. We're going to put in Spell Cascade and Spell Echo here. I'm not sure if Cascade actually works. You know, definitely keep an eye out on the builder to see exactly what's going on. Oh, the bell just murdered it. Well, the bell is pretty OP in the first place, so using it to using spells basically to trigger it off should be pretty good. Okay, so the wall doesn't really seem to actually hit the bell all that much, so we probably won't be using that. However, for like a defensive option, I think using the wall to drop it down is probably going to be pretty good as well. That's kind of the update. Like realistically, like I think we're still in a great spot, able to do tier 15 maps. Right now my weapon is something I've been having for almost all of mapping. I made this like probably in like tier 4s or something like that, and this is just really not very great. We have a tier 7 flat, which is very nice, but then a tier 5 hybrid, so we're like missing one of the like best stats basically, which is percentage physical. Now one of the things I do have is mana per enemy killed. I feel like this has been helping me out quite a bit, but also the physical attack damage releases mana supposedly should work now. So this should also help a little bit with mana conservation. Also, these other spells that we're going to be using here instead of Comet are basically significantly cheaper, especially like Ice Nova here, 94 instead of 40. And so this is definitely something that's not going to nuke your mana as much, whereas Comet basically just doesn't work. Now, the reason why we can't use Comet anymore is, I'll just show you real quick, is they kind of just like massacred my boy. And what I mean by that is even when you're fully charged, it's only going to cast 1 Comet as opposed to 3. You can't get a charge all the way up to 3 anymore for some reason, even though this is not something that was in the patch notes for how they were changing trigger skills, which is really weird to me. I don't know if this is something that they like intentionally changed, they bug fixed, but they just like didn't put it in the notes. And it's just pretty annoying. So we're at 65% here, and we have 1 charge. And yeah, we still have that 1 charge. And I'll cast my meteor. So yeah, they massacred my boy. It feels pretty darn bad. This is all you get. You get a whole 4 meteors. We used to get 12 meteors before, and yeah, just kind of sucks. Hopefully they maybe fix this and maybe bring back the Comet, but for right now, I think that probably our best bet for bursting bosses and doing other stuff like that is to go and probably use either Orb of Winter or Ice Nova. Both of these seem like these have a lot of potential. One of the things that's kind of maybe annoying a little bit about Ice Nova is that it has knockback, whereas the annoying thing about Eye of Winter is if you don't aim it directly on the bell, it doesn't really seem to do anything. But if it does aim directly on the bell will just explode and do a ton of damage, maybe too much damage. And we might want to get more quality on this, because this will increase the number of bell hits by 30% or 33%, which seems to be pretty powerful. Another thing I'm considering doing is putting overabundance on here instead of font of mana. And pretty much what overabundance does is it should give you +1 charge, but with Tempest Bell, that's not what it actually does. It makes it so that when you put the bell down, you can actually build up your next bell while the bell is currently active. And so the second it goes away, you can drop another one down, allowing you to get a lot more value out of keeping the bell up, especially against bosses. You just always have it up, always doing damage with it, and it is pretty powerful. Hopefully this video helped you out a little bit with your worries and concerns, but don't worry, we'll still be working on the build, and we do have a kind of like a more of an endgame build guide coming up soon. Hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you again soon. Come by the stream. Sorry my voice has been absolute crap this entire video. We'll see you guys later. Peace.